Nate, before we let you get out of here, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up. Feels like
I know what you're going to say.
It feels like every year we talk about this being the deepest and most exciting wide receiver class that we've ever seen. But this year, it feels like it's lived up to the hype. There's just a variety of prospects, all types of flavors for any which team, just exciting guys across the board. Two of which happen to attend the University of Texas. And Jackson and I have gone back and forth. He's a Worthy guy. I'm an A.D. Mitchell guy.
Of course he is. He's listening to this guy.
I've heard through the grapevine, Nate, that you're more of an A.D. Mitchell guy as well. So please, for me, for the people, for the entire world, tell Jackson why he's wrong about prioritizing Xavier Worthy over A.D. Mitchell and what you think about Worthy's fit in Kansas City at 28 and Mitchell's fit in Indy at 52.
Not only am I like kind of an A.D. Mitchell guy, I'm like an anti-Worthy guy. So
let's go, dude. Come on, let's go.
He was outside my top 50 completely.
Okay.
I thought the 165 showed up more than the 421. That was kind of how when I watch him. I will say better route runner than he gets credit for. Some of the deep ball stuff, I just think through contact, he can't bring it down. I don't see like a baseball player there.
My love for Worthy has nothing to do with
all
his
yak.
deep.
It's all yak stuff, right? Yeah, and this is South
yak and separation. I am a separation guy over everything.
He's going to go to the one place where he'll succeed, which is why me being low on him is going to just bite me in the ass. But it's it was like when Ayuk got drafted for the 49ers.
You mean the two-time defending champions traded up to get
awesome
this guy?
Quarterback that's going to like put every ball on the money. That was like when Ayuk got drafted, I was like, so like this guy's going to fail in 30 places. He went to the one of the two places. He's not only going to succeed, but he's going to become freaking Brandon Ayuk.
Real quick, if the 49ers trade him to just random team, is his production going down like dramatically?
I think he'll be okay. Debo would be the one actually. Because Debo, they use him perfectly. And Debo's just such a unique player. Yes, he's a superstar at that role, but it's a particular role.
Every year. Oh, this guy, Malachi Corley. This is the Debo. Laviska Shenault. This is Debo Samuel. Right, it's like everyone that ever lined up in the backfield in college is the next Debo Samuel.
It's unbelievable. It's like no one could think. When tight ends came out, everybody was Gronk or Aaron Hernandez. Like just for 7 years, you were one of those two.
Right.
Those are only two tight ends you could be. Yeah, it was Gronk or Aaron Hernandez, but I don't think I can say one of those names anymore. But Luther Burden for next year's draft class is the one guy that's like getting called the Debo guy.
Sure,
but he's not.
It's going to happen every year until he retires.
He's not. But going on the flip side, A.D. Mitchell. I know there's inconsistencies with him, but you can't teach what he does, and that's his ball skills, and that's his actual range for the football. I think. He has one of those things where he's such a good athlete, and actually Julio came into his problem sometimes. Not comparing him to Julio, but just like they're so fast that sometimes you watch them on film, they're like, oh, they're jogging. Mm-hmm. And then you like look at him compared to everybody else, and you're like, oh, he's just such an easy mover that and so it's something I didn't like him originally. I had like a 3rd round grade on him. I was like, nope, I know he's inconsistent. Then when I get into this process, I'm watching like a game or two, all 22 during the season. I'm watching a lot of TV copies. Once the season ends is when I like, okay, here's 4 games, here's 5 games, here's 6 games in a row. I watched him. I was like, okay. Like you're just catching everything and you're jumping around for everything and you can run a full route tree. It's just that you're running like real routes. Like he had more to him on top of, and then I knew he would test like a monster. That shouldn't have surprised anyone. And he has the height. Jackson, you might know this. Anyone that's ever listened to me on any show, I prefer size. I prefer if you have size, speed, and what I think is good film, and when you kind of like really put it down, and if you're taking him in the freaking 2nd round like this, like it's definitely worth the swing. I understand the concerns, but where he ended up, the situation he ended up, I actually really like it for the Colts, obviously. Like they both ended up at great spots.
Mike is bursting at the seams here, and I'm gonna let him. He's ready to explode. Here's the one thing that I will say before I give the
terrible
floor
statistical profile. I know.
Oh my god!
I know.
Oh my god! It's just atrocious.
It's the heart versus. He's the biggest heart versus head guy. He is my. It's one of those, and look, I hedged a little bit because at one point I was like, I'm going to put him over Brian Thomas, and after a while I was like, we're going to cool down a little bit, Nate. We'll just drop him just a little bit further. But it's so I hedged it. I had him like in my 20s, but it was just like, this guy, he has the upside of a true number one. That like he has it,
dude.
Like, and that's just hard.
You take the top 1% outcome of AD Mitchell's career, and the top 1% of Xavier Worthy. I'm taking AD Mitchell. Like there's only two people who love DK Metcalf more than me, and it's DK Metcalf and DK Metcalf's mom. They're like, I'm there, but I also understand he is a complete outlier. Like you are betting on outlier because at the end of the day, for me, you're a size guy. I'm a separation guy. Right. I want the receiver that's winning the game a tag, right? This is the guy you can't touch because I think that's where the NFL is going. I think it's why we see a Devontae Smith and a Tank Dell be able to be immediate contributors in this league, despite being smaller, when there's no way that would have happened 15, 20 years ago. My thing is that they were in the same system with the same quarterback running the same routes, and Xavier Worthy just absolutely outproduced AD Mitchell in every regard except for touchdowns, which I'm not sure how sticky that is. It's the same reason I like Jalen McMillan over Jalen Polk coming out of UW is because when they were both on the field together, there was like an extra 50% of production.
How you worked out, Jackson. You ever watched a combat sport? You know there's weight classes, right?
You know, I get that. I get that. But I'm saying this is where the NFL is going. So anyway, Mike,
how Tank Dell end the season last year?
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. Your little 165 bird receiver is going to.
They had him blocking an outside linebacker on a goal line.
You can't do it. You're going to ask him not to do it. So now we're going to take things off the table.
You're not going to ask Xavier Worthy to be a goal line blocker. I think that's reasonable.
So can't run it. Can't run it because Xavier's
how about not taking plays off? How about I'm not the first read. So
Reggie Wayne's
going to run my route.
Reggie Wayne's going to get it out of him.
I do love AD Mitchell in Indianapolis because he's not the number one. This is the one thing that I said during the draft is that you can't have AD Mitchell step in and immediately be the number one wide receiver in your room because I don't believe in the work ethic, and I hope he proves me wrong. I'd love him in Indianapolis.
I wanted him to go to the Chiefs or the Bills because I wanted a quarterback that gets up his ass. That's what I think he needs, and I actually think he's going to respect the fuck out of Richardson because I think that's where he gets there. He's going to respect him more to Quinn Ewers. So I think that's it. And Reggie Wayne. Like, I really believe in that kind of stuff. You have to get
that's a great point. And I'm a big Shane Steichen guy, man. I think I saw everything I needed to see from Indianapolis and Philadelphia last year
to the moon.
To be a big dude. I think Shane Steichen's like the next Kevin O'Connell at like low end next Kevin O'Connell.
Agree with everything you said, Nate. Like build an X in a lab, right? Yeah. Like just the blueprint. The last thing I wanted to leave this on with Xavier Worthy, right? I'm with you. You know, the drops show up on contested catches and all that. I just think there's a little more Marquez Valdes-Scantling to his game than a lot of people want to admit. But he just happened to go to the place where you can win back-to-back Super Bowls with Marquez Valdes-Scantling. So
yeah, he's like a mix between MVS and McCole Hardman.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Who caught the game-winning touchtown?
Stop it.
McCole Hardman.
Stop it.
And that's all we'll remember.
All right.
Not the drops before.
Nate, we promised you a tight 45. We're at like an hour 10 because...
Never. Easiest bet in sports, the over for Nate Tice.
Take the over.
Easiest bet in sports.